Everybody? It's your boy Slim William Games here, back with another video. Smash that like button and subscribe. But now, guys, I'm making this video because I'm going to minimize my screen here. I'm making this video because a lot of people, a lot of VR content creators, right? A lot of these VR content creators, and look, this is no shot at them, but let me explain what's going on. A good bit of these content creators, right? A lot of, well, not, I gotta stop saying the word a lot, but some of them who do not play any VR games at all, right? The ones that only just talk about VR, that's all they do. They don't play, they don't like get on here and put on the VR headset and play the games, right? They just sit here and just talk about VR, like kind of like what I'm doing right now. But they do this every single day, right? What they do, some of them, not all, they always bring up VR is dying conversation, right? They always bring up VR is dying conversation. And I'm going to explain why. And the reason why I'm bringing up Steam right now, because I want to show you guys there's a lot of VR content, a lot of VR video games that are out. Now, the reason why they say stuff like VR is dying, right, or is VR dying, is because of content. Some of these guys who do not play get on here and actually play the VR games, right? Well, let me just start over real quick. I will admit, most of these VR games are dated, right? I can go here on my list, I can show you. Most of these VR games are dated. Arizona Sunshine 2, that's been out, what, for a while. Ella Rogue Incursion just came out. Fun game, by the way. Arizona Sunshine remake. That's a remake of an old Arizona Sunshine. So, but that's fairly new in a way, right? But and I got a bunch of other VR games as well. But a lot of these guys, man, they get on here and talk about VR content. Oh, it's dying. Oh my God. First of all, okay, I can admit a good bit of these VR games are dated, right? They're dated. They're most of these VR games that are out, yes, came out years ago, right? But due to the fact that some of these games have updates and the developers are constantly working on these updates, making the game as 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 oh God, what's the word I'm looking for? Relevant, that's the word, relevant as possible, right? You look at Onward, right? You look at Onward. Onward is an old game, but they update it so the game is a lot. Even though it's old, the updates kind of like Grand Theft Auto, right? How come nobody complained about Grand Theft Auto 5? Grand Theft Auto 5 came out back in 2013, and the game still to this day is as relevant as when the game first came out. Grand Theft Auto 5 is that old. But when it comes to VR content or VR games, it seems like to me people are complaining about the older games. Oh well, these games are old. Oh, there's nothing to play. VR is dying because why? Contractors Xfill Zone is very popular. A lot of people are paying Contractors Xfill Zone. A lot of people. And a lot of people are still paying the original contractors. I'm on these platforms playing these games. I know. Convergence is a very great game. To be honest with you, I'm too pussy to play it. Facts. I'm just keeping it real. I'm gonna play it when You got Creed Rise of Glory, a fighting game. Very popular. Crossfire Central Squad. Now, Sierra Squad. This game is good. It just has some hiccups with it. I think it needs an update, but this game is very good. It's a campaign game. It's very good. Ghost of Tabor, very popular. Green Hell VR, very popular. Of course, Half-Life Alyx, which is basically the god of all VR games. Hard Bullet, which is fun. Hell Split Arena. Hell Sweeper. Into the Radius 2. Into the Radius 1. Into the Radius 2 is beyond good, guys. And I'm doing live streams on that. That game is beyond great. Even though it's early access, Into the Radius is a fun game. Very fun game. Medal of Honor. I'll be honest with you guys. This game is fun. Medal of Honor is a long behind campaign, but it's fun. Metro Awakening. I'm too pussy to play it, but I got it. I'm going to play it. I got a bunch of VR games, but what I'm saying is, guys, there's a lot of content to be played. Now, let's go to my wish list. See, and let me just say this. When it comes to VR content, VR gaming, there's not a lot of VR games versus compared to the regular flat screen games. We all know that, right? So, as more people get into VR, and I'm going to get into the difference with PC VR and standalone, right? I have a Meta Quest. I have a Quest 3. Great investment. Great headset, by the way. Now, I can't speak on the PlayStation VR 2. I don't have a PlayStation VR 2. Right? I can't speak of the other headsets because I don't have the other headsets, right? I can only speak on what I have, right? Now, the reason why I say the Meta Quest is an amazing headset is because of the fact that you can get exclusive VR games. Batman, amazing VR game. What else? Right now they got Zero Caliber 2. Zero Caliber 2 is coming, and I have it here. I have it saved to my wish list. VR Caliber 2 is coming to PC VR. I'm buying it again. The game is that good. But yeah, it's amazing, right? You got Ember Souls, which is already on the Quest. I'm waiting on the Gunman Contract standalone. That's going to be amazing. You got Thrill to Fight 2. Thrill to Fight 2 is already on the Meta Quest. Wanderer Fragments of Fate is already on the headset. Already on the Quest. Right? But you got some guys who they do not play. Well, they play the games, but they're not planning on like to upload. They just play it and then they sit down and give you their feedback on the game. I watch a couple of them VR content guys. They do this. Now you got some content creators like Beardo Banjo. He never plays a VR game twice. He always put out brand new content. Now, it may be mods and stuff like that, but he finds a way to put out new content every day. But you got some guys who all they do, they talk about VR, they don't play VR, and then they bring up the is VR dead conversation. In my opinion, I don't think VR is dying. I don't think VR is dying. I think VR, and I can't stand with some of these guys. Oh, they piss me off. Because look, let me go ahead and say this. Some of these VR creators, content creators, they got to always have content to put out daily. Some of these guys put out VR content daily, right? Well, if you have a strict VR channel, right? There's only so much VR content you can talk about without going, unless you're talking about the same old stuff, right? The same old stuff. That's why a lot of them, if you watch their content, who does reviews or who does regular just VR content where they talk about the same games over and over and over and over. Now, in some instances, their audience love that, right? But if you're outside looking in, if you never got into VR at all, and you're thinking about getting into VR, and you look like, man, this guy's talking about VR is dying, or VR is in a weird state. It's not. There's a lot of VR games that are out, a lot of fun VR games that are out. Way too many for me to even count. But you just got to be able to look for them. It's not as in your face like a flat screen game, right? That comes out on Steam or PlayStation or whatever, right? But there are a lot of VR games you just got to actually take the time to look. And then there's mods and all sorts of stuff you can add into it. But a lot of these VR content creators who do not play games, and the reason why I say who do not play games, because they're not showing you you got some VR content creators, they show you different VR games that are out. Now you got some VR content creators who show you the same game. They play Contractors, they play Contractor Airfield Zone all day long. That's their thing. They play and the people love that. They love I would give them a couple of them shout out. Timeless VR. Timeless VR puts out the same content, and there's no disrespect, but he puts out the same content, and I watch it every single time. And all he plays is either Ghost of Tabora or Contractors Airfield Zone every single day, and people love that. Marty VR, he does a live stream where he plays, and he has the cat VR, right? He has the Catwalk VR, and he plays Contractors, Airfield Zone, or regular Contractors, or whatever, with different mods and stuff like that. And people love it. I watch his live. Downloadable content. All he plays, literally, all he plays is Blade and Sorcery every single day, and people love it. If he don't play Blade and Sorcery, you see the comments going, hey, where's Blade and Sorcery at? What the hell are you doing? So the content creators who do not actually get on here and play video games, who just talk, need to talk about VR's dying, because it's a way of putting content out. VR is not dying, guys. There are a ton of video games that are out. Great games. You just got to take the time to look. I had to do that. I had to go out here. When I first got into VR, at first I wasn't into VR at all. I was not into it. I didn't understand it. I didn't watch it. I didn't care for it. I was not into it. Well, my brother gave me a headset. He said, man, just try it out. I said, nah, bro, I'm good. He said, bro, just try it out. Let me borrow his headset. And no lie, I actually let the headset sit there and collected dust for months before I got it, before I touched it. And when I went back into it, I thought, oh man, this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. And then I started to get into it more, start finding more video games and started getting more into it. Then I started to look at, okay, what game is good, what game is not. And I said, man, and I fell in love with VR. That's why I got the treadmill, the vests, all of that stuff, the gun stocks, because I just love VR gaming. Right? Now, I still play my flat VR. I still play my flat games, right? That's why I'm not making my channel a strictly VR channel, because I didn't start my channel out as a VR channel. I started my channel out actually, doing some illegal stuff on here, showing you guys how to download video games for free and all this other stuff, right? Then I started out showing you guys how to play Grand Theft Auto and stuff like that, and then my channel just evolved, right? So, but no, VR is not dying. VR is amazing. But you got some content creators, all they do, they jump on here and they talk about VR dying because it's just a content talking point. That's it. They need something to talk about. Now, do it get annoying? Because yes, a lot of these guys, they do talk about the same video games over and over and over and over. How many times are you going to talk about Into the Radius 2? How many times are you going to talk about, so, oh, my top 10 VR games, oh, the top 10, it's the same content. They just mix it up. And it will take a while for the new content to get into the gaming, right? It will take time for the new VR content to come in, the VR games to come in. But there's a lot of VR games that I haven't even played yet, that I still don't even know about, right? So in conclusion of this very long video that some of you guys are going to tear your hairs out, because you're going to go, oh my God, Slim, just get to the point, because, hey, I'm a TikTok guy and I can't stand to watch a guy talk for more than 2 minutes. I'm going to lose my shit. But VR gaming is plentiful. There's a lot to get into, a lot to learn. Just take the time and look for it. It's your boy, Slim William Games, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.